Hello, Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Welcome to your June 2024 tarot reading. Please come into the reading with an open heart and an open mind. Take away only what resonates for you, and please release the rest. Trust your own intuition above all else to separate what is meant for you and what is not. Again, don't take action on anything that feels strange or foreign. That being said, let's try and have some fun and get you some clear, helpful, insightful messages. We're setting the intention now for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Let's get them some juicy messages for the month of June. What's coming out for Taurus? Happy belated birthday, guys. I hope you had a fabulous birthday season and continue to bask in the glory of you. Knight of Wands, some more energy. Feeling energy or energized, revitalized, going after something with gusto, with steam. I don't know if that's a typical Taurian message, so if that's not you, that's someone coming in. The Hermit. Yeah, so this actually feels like you coming from a place of solitude or isolation or just needing to take a break from people. Like, I get that. Sometimes you're just like, I literally can't with people right now. And maybe you're feeling this way in Gemini season, right? We turn into the mutable air sign. It's very social. It's very chatty. It's very butterfly, mind scattered all over the place. And you might just be feeling exhausted by connections in your life right now. Like, it's too much. And so you may choose to kind of go from being very active and out there into like, I'm just going to take a minute for myself. Like, it feels very much like I'm wanting to withdraw, but on my own terms. That being said, there could be a Virgo who's coming towards you, who's very excited to collaborate with you or take you out, go out on a date. What is the connection between these two? The King of Wands. All right. So yeah, I think this is someone who's been planning their strategy on coming in. They were waiting for something to exit your life. It's almost like this. It feels romantic, but of course you can choose to view it through the lens of something else. Maybe it's a friendship, maybe it's a work dynamic, but it almost feels like someone's coming in to make their move after a period of wait. Like if they've been in hermit mode, plotting, planning, strategizing when they're going to come into you. It almost has a Scorpio type feel to it. In secret. Yeah, it actually feels very Scorpio Sagittarius, someone who's right on the cusp of those two, perhaps, or again, Virgo energy. They were waiting for the dust to settle in your life, though. So this is someone who had access to you in some capacity. Maybe you already know them and they're in your energy, they're in your orbit already. Maybe it's somebody very likely watching you on social media, but it's almost like, especially for my Tauruses who went through some sort of like tower moment, for those who are familiar with tarot, or if you're not, some sort of crisis that I think it's already played out for the most part, but obviously when the tower comes through, it's like, we're never like, check, done with that, check it off the box. It's kind of like it leaves a lasting impact. So this probably happened in January or February, maybe even, feeling more stress and needing to make adjustments in April. Something about the fiery Aries energy. Aries energy that was eclipse season. Okay. So something that likely happened to you around eclipse season, but there was a build up to it. Anyway, I don't have clarity on what that is. It may have had to do with moving house or moving home. It could have been being released from a job, whatever. And I don't mean to be dismissive, but I don't want you to be fearful because that's being relayed to me as it's already happened. Like you already know what this is if it's your message. Anyway, this King of Wands is looking to come in. He or she, whoever this was, fire energy, scoping you out, but they were plotting to make their move at a time where it would be well received and welcomed, because they're wanting to make a big splash. This person is actually, there's such a duality, great word for Gemini season, but I don't know. There's a duality of being very playful and kind of showy and peacocking with the Knight of Wands. But then this King of Wands is very well composed and not super showy. They naturally attract a lot of attention, but they don't necessarily go seeking that out. It's almost like their birthright. They're that shiny thing that people like to look at. But I think with that, this King of Wands is like, yeah, but people don't take me seriously because of that. So they've worked extra hard to lean into that Saturn of but I'm a real person. Their reputation means a lot to them, but they don't go about it by trying to impress or be schmoozy. Do you know what I mean? That's sort of the opposite of this Knight of Wands. So I'm actually sort of curious if this is two different energies. I'm not totally sure. It could also be sort of the idea of time passing and maybe someone that you once knew and connected with and they were a little bit immature. Maybe they've done some work on themselves and they're trying to present to you in a new way. That would sort of make sense to me why they've held back or why they haven't come in and made some sort of connection with you or offer or incited some sort of important conversation. Because I think it's like they've been away. They've been tucked away in hermit mode. I think they actually have done a lot of work on themselves. It definitely kind of feels like someone who has been in your life before, and for some reason or another, the connection just wasn't strong enough for you to stoke the fire. It seems like they were very eager and maybe aggressive in getting your attention, but you just weren't having it. I'm very much getting like immaturity vibes here. Someone who probably has strong fire in their chart, but they don't necessarily have to be an Aries, Leo, Sag. But it's almost like you meant enough to them. I think, okay, there's a lot of messages coming through. I think they felt a little bit wounded by your rejection. And so rather than taking that to heart and feeling this sense of I'm never good enough, oh shucks, kick rocks, I'm such a loser, right? Rather than sinking into that woe is me pity thing, they almost took it as a sort of invitation to level up, to make themselves better. And I think I like the energy because it does seem like they did it for themselves, but also knowing that if they were to work on themselves, you might start to see them in a different light, and then they could, you're kind of the prize at the end of the tunnel for them, right? Hopefully this person has enough self-love and confidence to know that whether you like them or love them or hate them or reject them or whatever, accept them, that, they still have their own life to live. You're not the final judge or determination factor on their self-worth. Hopefully they're starting to recognize that now. But I do think there was more damage done than you realize in the past. However, I like it in a sense because it feels very karmic, because you left an undeniable, unresistible impact on this person. It's almost like you shone light on, it's almost like their wounded warrior came up. There was a sense of feeling very vulnerable because you saw through their bullshit. You were able to kind of like, penetrate sort of that, again, peacocking, superficial thing that they were putting out there. And like, you really cut to the core. So it felt very much like, instead of begrudging you or holding it against you that you saw through their show, their, again, possibly superficiality, instead of holding that against you and again sinking into pity mode, they decided to make themselves better. Because whatever you said to them was something they recognized about themselves, and they weren't happy about it. It's something they always wanted to change, but it's almost like they had to hear it through another person in order to awaken that part of themselves that was susceptible or motivated to make that change. And so, it's like something had to be destroyed in order for this person to come back in a new and evolved way. Something about number 9 is very significant. Number 9, that could have been digits in a phone number, an address, or a lucky number. Maybe this person is born in, I don't know, what would that be, September? Is September the 9th month? I don't even know anymore. All right, tell me a little bit more. This person may live at a distance from you. There may have been something significant about their car, or you may have taken a road trip with them or gone on, something with the local neighborhood. I don't know. Something with that car is kind of sticking out to me here. Something very specific about a tattoo. Something about like a bug or a snake or a reptile or I don't want to say icky because, you're Taurus, so you love like the nature or earthy things, but something that maybe another person would be a little bit like averse to. It's like, like a scorpion tattoo or a snake tattoo, or feels very Taurus, Scorpio type stuff, or like I don't know. It's not like a bumblebee, it was something a little bit more macabre, and, they had like a lizard or some sort of tattoo. I don't know. And maybe that's you as well. Magician. Yeah, this started some new journey of manifestation for them. I'm part of me is a little bit like, why is this so about them? But I'm also wondering if for some of you the role may be reversed and this could be about you, Taurus, possibly. Especially if you were very averse to changing yourself, as a fixed sign. Maybe there was some sort of karmic connection in your life that sort of cracked the mold a little bit in a way where you needed to set yourself free from an old habit or an old lifestyle or an old behavior in order, again, to upgrade yourself, to be a better version of yourself. And it's almost like the catalyst for that was through another person. But again, you did do it for you ultimately. But I do think, again, whoever is this person going through this soul change, on a soul level, they are sort of hoping to revisit a connection with you or vice versa. There's a very strong connection in your life that sort of initiated this major wake-up call. That feels very Uranian to me, Aquarian type energy, or sorry, ooh, excuse me, double sneezes, Gemini season. Sorry. It feels very Uranian or even Plutonian, like Scorpio energy, like meeting someone and feeling utterly transformed by their energy and having that impact you in a way where it's not always a comfortable process, but very much like shedding of the snakeskin, becoming the person you were meant to be, which may not have happened had you not met this person. So whether it comes back together or not, it feels very karmic. But yeah, this initiated a new chapter of transformation, of manifestation, because this person had all the tools. It's like they had everything they needed to create this new life. They just weren't doing it. And so this felt very much like a blessing, or almost like not an angelic presence, but a divine intervention through you. And I don't even know if you realized that you were the catalyst for this. But yeah, Eight of Cups said, it wasn't all easy. It wasn't all fun and games. There was absolutely trouble with this person maybe expressing their true emotions. And I feel like for a lot of you, if you're resonating with this, that was the issue you had with this person, is that they couldn't be vulnerable with you. They couldn't get past sort of the fun and games and bells and whistles. It was like this person in a sense was like a traveling circus. Their energy was very much like alive, and they may have even had issues with drugs or substance abuse. Or it feels very much like I'm operating on a higher level, but it's not me. It's something assisting me. I'm being boosted by something else. And I don't think you had time for that. I think you didn't have time for those games. I think you saw something beautiful in this person, and it was almost like you wished that they could have seen that beauty in themselves. It took them a while to get there, but someone's coming through as the King of Wands, so it feels like this Knight of Wands has matured, has upped their game. They're coming at life with a new perspective. And it's like a tower had to fall here. With the Eight of Cups, we had to walk away. There was a constriction energy with Saturn energy coming through on an emotional level. Someone had to mature emotionally. So I think this King of Wands is coming in. And don't get too stuck on the gender, right? It could easily be a female as well. But it does have more kind of masculine energy to it, if that makes sense. Something about it, like a teacher or a professor or a teaching assistant. Maybe you met this person in college, or I'm not sure what that is. Something about college or university or a teaching assistant. I'm not sure. That's just a confirmation for a few people. So Three of Swords. Yeah, so this a lot of healing, and a lot of pain too with the Three of Swords. I don't mean to like sort of bypass its ultimate meaning, but it's a Libra card, so it's someone who's trying to reestablish balance in themselves and in their life. But through pain, through trauma, oftentimes we sort of upgrade ourselves in our lives, and we sometimes have to go through that hardship to make a bigger impact in our lives and what we want to accomplish, through hardship. What is that expression? It's like pressure breeds diamonds. That's sort of what I get here. So how is this impacting Taurus? This feels and maybe this is a cross-watcher reading, right? Maybe people are peeking in on Taurus's energy. I don't necessarily get that. It's almost like, for a lot of you, it felt very unjust. It felt like something that you've held on to emotionally for a while because it felt very unfair. Like you put all this time and energy into something and it felt like you got burned. Or it may have come during a chapter in your life that was very chaotic and crisis driven anyway, which would make sense that, when you're going through like a Pluto transit or a Uranian transit, right? You're being impacted in multiple ways, but you tend to meet people who also manifest or bring in that energy, represent that energy in your life. So it could have been like, and again, I'm not saying this is true currently. This is like a past thing. It's almost like, you lost your job the same week that this person broke up with you and you had invested so much time in both and you were just like, WTF. Like, I think you may look back and be like, that was one of the hardest chapters of my life. And this person is very much connected to it. I don't know if you necessarily blame them, but I think you still look back and wonder why. I think there's definitely a why did that happen? That, again, it feels very like that was so unfair, that was so unjust. Like I had really good intentions. I helped this person, I put them up, I lent them money, whatever it was. It felt very much like you got nothing out of it, and it was sort of like the universe slapping you in the face with a karmic lesson. I think for some of you, the ultimate message here is just to know that your impact was far more reaching than you realized. In a sense, like you changed this person's life. You woke them up. Again, it may even have had to do with like sobriety or helping them get clean or encouraging them to get clean. Even if it's not alcohol or substances, again, metaphorically, you showed them that there's a different way to do it. And you don't have to pretend to be someone else to mask your insecurities. It's like, I accept you for who you are, but I like it when you're not imitating or pretending to be something that you're not. Like, I like you as is, but it's like you really had trouble tapping into that real authentic person. But I think you saw them when nobody else did, and that's why you meant so much to this person. I do think you're going to hear from them. Why else would it be coming through in this reading? I mean, maybe some of you just needed to hear that in order to make amends or come to some sort of personal conclusion on your own. But I wouldn't be surprised even if this person isn't trying to get into bed with you, because I don't get that. If they do come forward, they want something legit and real and long-standing, earthy energy. But this almost feels like a person who writes you a letter because they're making amends in their life. It's almost like they're on their apology tour, especially, again, if they dealt with substance abuse or whatever. They burned a lot of bridges, and I think they're trying to make those right. I think they're trying to be a stand-up man, a stand-up woman, and make right the things that went wrong in their life, especially the things that they felt personally responsible for, because I think they did cause a lot of damage. I think they're, again, feeling like steamrolled or feeling like you got burned. That they know that, they know that. They acknowledge that. I think it's taken them a long time to sort of swallow their pride and acknowledge that, but hurt people. And I think this person carried a lot of pain, and again, there was something about you were able to sort of penetrate that and see right through them. Anything else I can tell? I almost called you Virgo. That's interesting. You might be dealing with a Virgo. No, they're saying do the Oracle card. Do the Oracle card. Okay. I don't use this deck a lot because it's like a funky deck to shuffle, but I'm going to do my best here. The Alchemy, the Wild Unknown Alchemy. It's a really cool deck, so let's pull something for Taurus. Do one more good shuffle for Taurus. What message wants to come out? Either in regards to this reading or to touch on something that would be meaningful and significant to someone out there watching. Just one card, please. That one. Thank you. Autumn. All right. It reminds me of the movie 500 Days of Summer. At the end, he meets a girl named Autumn, right? And there's some weird, balance to the universe. All right. X. Oh, boy. This always challenges my Roman numerals. There we go. Open right to it. Thank you, universe. All right. The culmination, the broad view, and generosity. In alchemical terms, autumn is the I don't even know what that word is. Denouement? Is that the right? I don't know. of the Earth's grand narrative. It is the symbol of the culmination, harvesting, and resolution. The story of our year finds closure, and we begin to look towards the horizon of the next one. It is likely that this card will appear as an indicator of efforts culminating, hard work paying off, of fruit hanging low for the taking. Gratitude and generosity are the spirit of the season, so share the wealth of your fortune. Looking back, you realize many hands and hearts have helped you along the way. Holding tight to your bounty won't do any good. The alchemist shares their wisdom and wealth, and they offer their boons back to the world as part of an ongoing cycle. Be like the autumnal tree, come to fruition, and then release. Yeah, so for some of you, if you resonate as the King of Wands, there's a going back to right the wrongs, and again, sharing very generously, if and where you can. Others of you, again, it's the reverse of like some seeds that you planted a while back that it's like, I don't even know if that's the right way of phrasing it, because it's like you didn't even intend for them to grow. It was something you did. It was something you gave. You know, you were very generous of spirit and your time and your kindness, your wisdom, possibly your money, whatever. You gave to a connection and it gave nothing, next to nothing back to you. Suddenly, like, you know, the fruit appears from the tree. And it's a tree that you haven't seen in a while. You didn't think it was ripe anymore. You didn't think it was going to harvest anything for you. Something comes back possibly unexpectedly, and I think it's up to you what you want to do with it. I don't think there's any pressure to make it anything that it doesn't need to be, but I think it's just a reminder about how things are cyclical. Things do come full circle, and your energy is far, far greater reaching than you realize. Wow, Taurus, this was a powerful one. I hope this resonated for you. Please like the video, guys. That helps me gain some traction here on YouTube. Share the link if it spoke to you. I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Happy Gemini season, happy June, and I will see you soon for more tarot. Bye, guys.